Why are people quitting their jobs? That was a question I was really curious to learn more about. It is March 2022 and we are talking about the Great Resignation. So I did some research in order to understand why are people really leaving their jobs. And I found some really interesting insights that I want to share with you in today's video. So I would say, let's get started. Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And I'm really excited to talk with you today about job burnout. Yes, because job burnout is in fact the #1 reason why people are leaving their jobs today. Based on an article from the Inc. magazine in January 2022, about 40% of people leave their jobs because they are feeling increased burnout. And what is also really interesting is reason number 3, because based on that article, the third reason of why people are leaving their jobs and why we are currently talking about the Great Resignation is because people are seeking more caring cultures, which is also somewhat related to job burnout, work flexibility, and so on. So in today's video, I want to talk with you about job burnout. I want to talk with you about what burnout is, how you can spot it, so what kind of signs and symptoms can you experience when you have burnout and how can you overcome it. I also want to share, of course, a little bit more data and research that I have found in order to support that burnout is actually really a big problem and we should all start to pay closer attention to it. So I would say, let's get started with the definition of job burnout. Burnout was in fact only recognized as an official disease in May 2019. And based on the World Health Organization, burnout is a syndrome resulting from chronic work-related stress, with symptoms characterized by feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism or cynicism related to one's job and reduced professional efficacy. Based on a research study from Indeed in April 2021, we know that burnout is on the rise. About 52% of people were saying that they were increasingly feeling burned out, which was about 10% more than pre-COVID. So we do know that Corona had a really strong influence on burnout numbers. People were not disconnecting from work after work anymore, and they were not setting clear priorities or clear boundaries in order to make sure that they are having some space after work for themselves. 67% of all workers believe burnout has worsened during the pandemic, and about 53% of millennials, people that were born between 1981 and 1996, were already burned out pre-pandemic, and they remain the most affected population with about 59% experiencing burnout today. So as you can see, burnout is a real problem and we need to create more awareness around what you can do in order to not get there. This is obviously what I'm constantly talking about in my videos, and I'm super passionate about burnout because I experienced burnout myself in the summer of 2018 before it even became an official recognized disease. So in the next part of this video, I want to talk with you a little bit about the signs and symptoms of burnout and obviously how you can overcome it. So let's start with the first thing. Let's start with the first question, which is, what symptoms can you experience when being burnt out? Number 1, working extra hours at work for an extended period of time oftentimes leads to burnout. Number 2, feeling increasingly stressed and frustrated about work and emotionally distancing yourself from the job or feeling increasingly cynical. Emotional exhaustion is another symptom of burnout, starting to feel overwhelmed, stretched thin, scattered, depressed, not excited, or more angry than usual. Physical symptoms. The reason why you are experiencing physical symptoms is because all of your main bodily functions are reduced to minimum functionality. Your immune system, your cardiovascular system, and your digestive system are all these really important functionalities that are happening in your body and that you're never really paying attention to. But when you are in the fight or flight response, which is what you are in when you are working all day long and you are increasingly having stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol in your body, then your body doesn't have time to actually take care of these really important functionalities. And obviously, if you are having increased levels of stress over an extended period of time, then your body is getting sick. So you have to be really, really conscious of that. And then the final symptom that you can experience when being burnt out is poor performance. Because obviously, when you can't really focus anymore, when you're not sleeping really well anymore, then all of these have, of course, effects on your performance as well. So it is really important that you're taking care of yourself. And that brings me to the next question, which is, how can you overcome burnout? The first step in order to overcome burnout is to identify your early warning signals and realize that you are in fact burnt out. That is the first important step, because if you are not aware that you are feeling burnt out, then it's going to be really, really difficult to overcome it. So that is the first step. The next step, and the thing that I see most of my clients struggle with, is time management. There's a lot of data out there that suggests that people are not managing their time really well, and that is the reason why they are burning out. Based on another study by UC Berkeley in 2021, the top factors that are fueling burnout are 49% people are feeling overworked, 32% of people are having a hard time disconnecting from work after work, and 29% of people are having a lack of clarity on their tasks. And so that's all indicating that time management is a real problem for people, and that leads to burnout. So it is really important that you are better managing your time, that you are setting more boundaries, and that you're obviously creating space in order to take care of yourself, because oftentimes it is that you're not taking enough breaks, and that's why you are starting to feel burnt out. It is also really important to have a conversation with your manager in order to tell him how you feel and find some actionable steps in order to help you overcome burnout. If you are curious to learn more about that specific topic, I have a video on my YouTube channel that specifically talks about how you can have a conversation with your manager if you're feeling burnt out, and I highly encourage you to watch that one. And finally, another really effective way on how to overcome burnout is obviously to seek professional help from a coach or from a therapist in order to identify the areas that are not working really well for you today and that you can work on. There's a lot of different resources on my YouTube channel on overcoming burnout. For example, a time management series, how to set boundaries, or also how to create a self-care practice. So make sure that you're checking out all of these different videos. And that's all I wanted to share with you in today's video. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment down below if you have any further questions when it comes to burnout. I am doing a lot of different workshops and trainings with corporate teams on overcoming burnout. I help them to really identify what is going on and help them create healthier habits and routines. So if you are working for a corporate team and you are curious to learn more about the programs that I offer, please reach out to me. You can find all of my contact information in the show notes as well. So with that said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in one of my next ones.